Moving on to the monthly capital improvement bond update. Tonight, we're going to receive our monthly update on the capital improvement bond. This is, I believe, our second. At some point, I'm sure I will lose track because we're going to get a regular monthly update as we go through this bonding program. Superintendent Smith, would you like to introduce this item?
I would. CJ Sylvester, our Chief Operating Officer, and Jim Owens, our Executive Director of Office of School Modernization, will provide this report.
Thank you and good evening. As Co-Chair Belisle indicated, this is our second monthly report, and we will lose track in short order of exactly which month it is. And the thing we want to talk about first before Jim walks you through the balanced scorecard again is the fact that we've been for the last 3 months going through a facilities visioning process, and we've met with several dozen community groups and organizations, student and parent activists, and we have a summit coming forward that is on May 28th that will be from 1 to 5 p.m. in the Rose Room at the Rose Garden. But what we wanted to be able to share with you tonight is just a short clip video of one of these visioning sessions that was held with the Fabian first grade class just last week. So if audio video can roll that for us, that'd be appreciated.
Like how like in math, how we do at school, how we do the math, and I like the Chromebooks and the iPads. My aunties, my grandma, and my granddads have been here since they were a little kid.
Oh, a lot of family history here.
I like learning. I think it's the best part about Fabian.
One of the most important things is kids are not shackled with a long history of what was. Their eyes are bright, the future's ahead of them, and they are wonderful at thinking about things that adults don't think about. And so I'm hopeful, and I can see from the drawings that are going on here, that they're showing us a whole series of things that we might consider for our schools here in Portland in the coming decades.
Diamond and gold and alien.
Diamond, gold, and alien, what's that about? Is that what the school is?
No, I'm writing it so we can put it in the school. My favorite thing about Fabian School is that there's paw prints on the wall over here.
What is Concordia? What's that?
Concordia is a college school.
What's their connection with Fabian?
Because they could teach you how to do soccer. Yeah, because we went there at kindergarten before.
Oh, okay.
Because the last time me and my grandma and my mom, we all went there, and they were setting up for so people can have dinner.
Why do you want a field at your school?
Because you can run, exercise, and play soccer and football.
What has been remarkable about the experience for the last 2 or 3 months is a real clear message that we're receiving that school in Portland should be the best schools in the world. And people are very much interested in using the bond as a catalyst to make schools here remarkable. And even as we watch these kids draw, and these kids are remarkable, or talking to the migrant community, or talking to the Black and African American community, all of them hold high ideals that are very similar in nature, and they are looking to the future and wanting Portland to be the very, very best it can.
And 25 kids are cool.
What does that mean, 25 kids are cool?
There's 25 kids in my classroom, and they're cool.
What's that say?
I love Fabian School. That's a double thumbs up.
Yes, it is.
That's a double thumbs up. Everybody?
Good evening. What a great way to kick off the May bond update. It's exciting to be able to continue these community conversations, and starting with our kids at Fabian. I think there might be a few architects, engineers, and contractors in that group, judging from their involvement in that work. CJ mentioned that this is our second opportunity to update you on bond progress, And what I'd like to do is quickly walk us through the balanced scorecard that we introduced last time. In your board packets, you have a more complete summary. This one's somewhat abbreviated so that it fits on the screen easier and is easier to see as it's presented. Not a lot has changed since April 29th when we did the last presentation, but can assure you that there's a tremendous amount of activity that staff's engaged in terms of our preparations for this summer. And certainly we're very confident that we'll be able to complete the work at our schools this summer and be ready when kids return in September. So in terms of our overall perspective, I'm glad CJ mentioned that we do have the Visioning Summit that is going to be occurring on the 28th of May. And I think it'll be an opportunity to bring our EdSpec work to mid-phase, really completion of the first one that will result in an educational visioning statement, and will be something that our team will carry on into the next phase, which is actually the development of the EdSpec document, which will be a very important source document that will inform our design teams. The gentleman that was featured in the clip, John Weeks, of course, is with the DAWA IBI group, and John will continue working with the team as we move into completion of phase 2. Our work on our improvement project 2013 is progressing on plan. In addition to the 5 schools that we had identified, we added a 6th because we were able to pick up some improvements that can be made at Ockley Green at one of the science labs. When we prioritized the schools, our educational facility improvements, principally the science classroom improvements, were packaged, and Ockley was one that we could get to fairly quickly. So we've actually incorporated that into the project, and that's being managed as well by the same team. Our work at Fabian is progressing. This is really precursor work to the replacement of the school, and we are on track to have our portable facilities delivered on time. Actually, we're expecting them mid-July, and very confident that we'll have those in place and ready to go for September. Our high schools are starting to pick up steam. Both Franklin and Roosevelt are in scope of work development phase right now. Our project teams are actually writing the statements of work, and we hope to get our RFP solicitation out at the end of this month to compete the work. And we are expecting a tremendous amount of interest from the design professional community for these 2 signature projects. I think taking 2 of these projects on at the same time will really excite the design professional community, excite the entire community, and being able to start this work, start the master planning phase, and then move into design and construction, of course, is a centerpiece to this bond program. On our budget perspective, again, not much has changed. I have not included the financial data that we did last time. We'll pick that up again in June. We're making some adjustments to more fully reflect all of the costs in the project. We had broken out a component for staffing and oversight, and we're putting it back into the projects itself. So when we do our June update, we'll put that back in. Meanwhile, in terms of budget status, we haven't seen any change. Our active projects where we're currently encumbering funds are still the same ones. So our Improvement Project 2013 and Fabian are moving ahead. And of course, we had mentioned last time that we sold the first increment of the bond funds, so the a little over 158 million. So we're in a good place relative to having cash to support the contract awards. Under our schedule, very much on track. We have 4 large construction contracts in place. Just this week, they were fully conformed, meaning that the contractors signed their documents, district accepted. We're starting pre-construction meetings next week, or rather this week, and then we'll be moving rapidly into mobilization phase. As soon as the kids leave the schools, we'll be ready to go, and we'll be fencing the sites and really starting the work. Again, we have 9 weeks to complete the construction at these, and so we'll be working very, very quickly and very accurately, wanting to ensure that we're hitting the quality, the schedule and the budget requirements that we have. We also are looking at our Improvement Project 2014 right now, and we'll be providing a report to you that details how staff approached selecting the schools and provide some context. There is quite a bit of interest in the next summer's work. We need to get started with our solicitations, our RFP for the architect, design professionals that are going to be doing that work. And so we'll be doing that at the same time we're starting construction. Nothing's changed on our stakeholder perspective. We, of course, are working our process to select members of the design advisory groups for the 2 high schools, and we are expecting applications. Actually, today I think was the deadline for Franklin and Roosevelt, and so we'll be going through a process to select those members, and then we'll attempt to set them up before the end of school. So before the end of June, we expect to have the initial meeting. And then our equity perspective, again, no changes from last time. We're initially off to a good start, but this reflects the consultant activity. It doesn't reflect the construction contractor component yet. So we're right at 33% as of this month. So that completes our report for May. Went through it pretty quickly, and I'd like to open up any questions or comments that you may have for us.
Doesn't look like we have any questions at this time. Sounds like making still good progress, but not a lot of change from last month. So great, thank you both.
Okay,
And
thank you.
actually, I'll just re-emphasize the May 28th event as one that we're really wanting good board participation in, and invite people who are interested and have been tracking this to come. So May 28th, 1 to 5.
Can you talk a little bit more about what that is
Say a little more
again?
about it.
Certainly. As Jim previously indicated, DAWA IBI is the group with some sub-consultants who have been facilitating our visioning process to date, and will also be taking us through the education specification process, which is phase 2 of this work effort. And so the Visioning Summit's intended to be everyone who has participated in the process to date, and everyone who has been invited to participate in the process to date, and additional people who have not yet participated or been invited to participate in the process. And the intention is to bring together all of the material that has been developed through these dozens of meetings, and start talking about the common threads, so that by the end of the Visioning Summit, we have in fact developed a facilities vision for Portland Public Schools. There will be several speakers who are intended to be kind of provocative and thought-provoking as we go through the afternoon, and it's vitally important for people who are interested in this bond work and who are interested in facilities at Portland Public Schools and in the future of educational learning environments, that they participate if at all possible. And again, as the superintendent said, it is May 28th from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. at the Rose Room at the Rose Garden.
And if somebody didn't catch that, where will we have that posted so somebody could?
We can have that posted on the website.
That would be great.
Mhm.
Speaking of websites, do we have a bond update website yet?
We have a fairly static website right at the moment. We have another one that's getting ready to go live about the first part of June. Right now, there's a press conference that they're trying to schedule around this summer 2013 work, and I think once the date for that has been established, that's actually going to be the same date then that the website goes live. And we're still in the process of hiring it. We had a job posting for a communications manager for the bond program, and that posting just closed last night at midnight. So we'll be looking to fill that position as well.
Great. Thank you. Thank you both.
Mm-hmm.